Have you ever wondered if the platform Xianyu, also known as Idlefish, is worth it when you're sourcing from China? Xianyu is also known as the eBay of China, essentially where you can buy secondhand goods, or you can buy goods from pretty much anybody. Like if I'm just moving apartments to another location, I want to sell all my stuff, this is the place I would go to do that. Well, in this video, I'm going to be breaking down everything you need to know to decide whether it's worth your time and effort as a foreigner sourcing goods from China if you want to use Xianyu. Let's dive in. First, let's talk about the registration process. You're going to need a passport, an Alipay, and a local Chinese bank account. Now, to get around the local Chinese bank account, there is something called the tour card that you can get after you have an Alipay account, where you just simply go to the search bar, search for tour card, then follow the steps to make an account. Essentially, it creates a pseudo bank account, and this can overcome your need for needing a Chinese bank account. However, you will need passport. Take a selfie with a passport to prove that it's really you to be able to do this. Also know that there are limitations within using the tour card, as in you can only do each transaction of up to 2,000 RMB, and you can spend a total of 10,000 RMB in a 3-month period until it resets. So just realize that. As of right now, Xianyu has both a desktop and a mobile version. I'm not so familiar with the desktop version. I recently found out that they actually have this. It's called goofish.com. You can see right there, goofish.com. And in this desktop version, apparently you can do almost a lot of the things that you can do on the mobile version. But let's go into the differences without that. Now, something to clear up about the registration is that you won't be able to be fully verified unless you manually verified your account with Xianyu as a foreigner. If you're a Chinese person, you simply do face recognition with your ID card. But if you're a foreigner, you need to take extra steps to be fully verified. Without being fully verified, you won't be able to chat with suppliers directly or people that are selling products, unfortunately. However, if you stay to the end of this video, I'll show you exactly how to overcome that. Now, the next thing you need to consider is payment methods. As I mentioned, just for registration can be a pain, but that is the first step. With payment methods, I always recommend to either use a tour card, or if you have a Chinese bank account, that is amazing, but that's usually really hard to get if you're not physically in China. As I mentioned, there are limitations using the tour card, so just realize that. But if you're just starting out, it's a good place to start until maybe you have an agent or a third party like Borderless commerce maybe to help you source goods from Idlefish. Just note that when you're not fully verified, as in you don't have a Chinese bank account or you haven't gone through the tour card process, when making an Alipay account that's linked to your Xianyu account, then you will never be able to chat with suppliers. For starters, as I mentioned, use the Alipay tour card. To log in, I'll just simply click on the Alipay photo. Well, you can't really see it, but there's an Alipay link right here. It's blocking the screen, but you can see the Alipay button. You agree to the terms and conditions. Then it will automatically ask you, do you agree to log in with your Alipay accounts? You say agree, and then right there, I'm logged into the account. It's as simple as it is. So now that you have a payment method set up with Alipay tour card, you have an account with Idlefish, what's the next thing to consider when using this is the product selection. Now realize this platform, as I mentioned, is like the eBay of China. So for visibility purposes, I'm going to use a desktop version, but let's say you want to find a product, and actually you can find all kinds of products, but you have to be very careful about how they list these. I would always recommend using desktop now that I know it exists. Why? Because it has the translate function. If you're using Google Chrome and you click on the translate function, you can translate everything to English, and that's why I recommend it. Because sometimes people make listings about products that they're selling or products that they want to buy, so don't get them confused. Some people say, I want to buy this product for this price and it's super cheap, and it's like, no, they're not selling it, they want to buy it. I'm just going to go to the search bar right here, and if you're using the desktop version, it doesn't look like they have the search by photo option, whereas if you're using this version here, you can see there's a little camera and you can take a picture of your product and it will do reverse image search. And look at that. Wow, I wasn't even intentionally doing this, and it found similar products with a digital watch. But you get the point. Depending on your preference, if you use the app, you won't be able to translate anything to English, but if you use the desktop version, then you can just simply, you have to put it in Chinese, by the way. You can try in English, but from my experience, the results aren't that good. So I'm just putting Apple phone there and then searching through the queries about the different kinds of Apple phones. Now this looks like ridiculously cheap, so let's do like 13 Pro. Let's get more specific. There you go. This pricing is more reasonable. You can see there's different options here. You can filter by price, and again, it always helps to translate everything into English if you're using Google Chrome. Now do realize that these are being sold in mainland China, so like if you're into this kind of secondhand iPhone business, these are going to have mainland Chinese interfaces. It may not be unlocked, it may not have all the features you're hoping for because it's made for mainland Chinese. So let's say I want to look into this one, and here you can get more details. Now here's some different things you can do. So here it says you can download the app, where if you scan the code with your cell phone, then you can go ahead and download the app. And I recommend doing most of the transactions, but apparently they have the chat function here. Now the issue with this, and I just tried this as a foreigner, is on the phone you can fully be verified manually and log in. However, on the desktop version, it seems I can't. Let me show you what I mean. So if I want to chat with a supplier, I click on chat with a supplier. I'm logged in right here on my phone, so I can scan the QR code with Idlefish. So here I'm on Idlefish, and I'll click on scan right there. Then I'll scan the code. Oh, gotta refresh it. And then I will authorize the login. Now the issue is it's going to be verifying with my Alipay here, and this is where it gets iffy. So if you got verified manually with a foreigner Alipay, it may ask you to get verified with face recognition. So it's saying in order to ensure the security of this, rescan this with your Idlefish account, and then it's going to ask you to do face recognition, which a lot of foreigners cannot do. So you run into issues with the desktop version. I just want to make that clear, that if you want to buy something, it's better if you just send the link to your phone and look at the product on your phone. So in that example, I can't use the full benefits of using the desktop version Chinese suppliers because I can't scan my face, right? So I'm going to give up on that part. Let's say I do want this product. I will copy the link, essentially send it to my phone, right? I'm sending it to myself. Let's say technically, so you open the link with your WeChat account, then you open it with a browser, then it should give you the option. Okay, so it doesn't give you the option to open with the app like the other one. So that's why I definitely prefer using this version instead, the mobile version. This is the pain. You can see I'm trying to get to the product and I can't even get to the product. So I'll just take a snapshot of the product and then just find it here, right? A lot easier. So I go there, and then I say I want to buy. I've already been verified, so I can chat with suppliers, right? They, oh, I want to buy it in Chinese, of course. And then you just have the conversation with supplier. You try and get the best deal, the best pricing, of course, that you can. And that's basically searching for products. Now, sometimes in this website, you'll find good deals for wholesale or for wholesale pricing instead of retail pricing, but it's hard to localize some of the products in your market. As I mentioned, this is mainly meant for the Chinese market, so expect most of the products to be for the Chinese people, because it's going to be hard to find like English brands or, you know, English interfaces for some of these products. There are exceptions. I'll go into just a little bit about what products are suitable using for this. So if you're finding value so far from this video, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more insights about sourcing from China. A further claim about using this platform versus using 168 Taobao are its propensity for scams. Scams are a risk. As I mentioned, this is an open platform where any Bill or Sally can sign up and just sell anything they want to sell. So there's no official verification process except for maybe like an ID card to be able to sell products on this platform. You don't need to have a business license. You don't need to be operating over a certain number of years. Unlike in Taobao 168 and Tianmao, you have to go through a certification process to actually be able to start selling goods. And even essentially, you may even need to put a down payment in some of those, where in this one, I'm not 100% sure. I haven't sold here in a while, but I'm pretty sure you don't need a down payment, which puts more risk in the platform. There's no certification or auditing necessary to be able to sell good. And handling issues can be difficult and risky. Not only does it take time to resolve, but sometimes if it can't be resolved between the seller and the buyer, then it will go to a third party where they would do an evaluation. Think of it as like a judge and a jury. If two people cannot solve it inside the platform within a specific time, then they elevate the case to some 12 random people. They look at the data, they look at the evidence, and make a decision for you of who should keep the money or not. Another thing about using Idlefish is that they don't provide overseas shipping. Primarily shipped to Chinese addresses inside China, and they expect you to verify everything while you're inside of China. So it can be difficult to handle the logistics without using a shipping agent. Of course, you have a platform like Borderless Commerce or your own local shipping agent in China that you have to ship the goods to. It's very important that you deal with this all within China and verify that the product works if you're buying electronic products before you ship it out overseas, because once it's overseas, too late, you're probably going to get scammed, and you don't want that happening. Now, who is this recommended for? If you plan on using Idlefish, here are some of the niche markets that it may be beneficial for. One is if you're reselling collectibles that can be found in China. So for example, some limited edition shoes that are limited in supply and you can buy from the suppliers here in China. Some collectible baseball cards, basketball cards, football cards. You know, those high value art kind of collectible items is definitely worth it. Actually, when I used to sell and buy on this platform, I would resell Sumi collectibles collectible anime figures. They're like the giant statues that would have like all kinds of figures from Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, all that stuff. And even at that point, it was very niche, and you could find good partners in the platform to either sell or do partnership with. And that was where it was very unique versus you can't find on 1688 or Taobao for some of the products like that. Mainly these collectibles are recognized internationally, and that's where it is. Like if you're reselling these kinds of products, I think Idlefish is definitely worth it for you. Now, as I mentioned, you can't chat with the suppliers on Idlefish until you actually fully verified your account. And if you want to know exactly how to chat with the suppliers, not through the desktop version as you saw, but at least through the mobile version on your phone, you can watch this video right here that goes step by step on how exactly foreigners can verify the Idlefish account.